Hey, what's going on guys? Mark back in the workshop on Mark's Aquatics. Right, I thought I'd give you guys a little update on the Fluval Evo, okay? As you can see there, we've got some beautiful anemones there. We've got a tri-bubble tip there, and we've got a lovely sandflower anemone there, which I've had since it was absolutely tiny, and it's huge now. It's got a big long trumpet there, which is coming up right from the back, going for the light, and obviously, like the bubble tips there, they're symbiotic to light. They can feed off of the light with the algae in the cells. So that's all great stuff. Everything's looking great. We've got some eggs which are hiding underneath the pulsing xenia there, which, there you go, there goes Dad just in there to fan them, and they're waiting for some food as we speak. But they're nice and healthy. Babies are on the way. We've got a nice little purple tipped anemone here as well, which I put in some time ago, but it went down the back and it decided I was going to live there for a while. So and it's just decided now it's going to migrate round the front where I've been feeding it, and hopefully with regular feeding in that area now it should stay put with a bit of luck, because it's getting regular food, regular light and everything else. We've got that lovely big fanworm there and his mate, which is up the side hiding in amongst the green star polyps. I'll zoom back out in a minute as well and show you, but everything else is doing really well. We've got that nice hammer coral there on the front. I did take two out because it was a little bit clustered in there, and I thought I'd open up a little bit more room. We've got that green star polyp on the front. We've got a baby cabbage coral there, some zoas, a chalice in the corner there, lovely zoas at the back, and the Montipora. What else can I show you? Got the big trachea across this side. I'm just going to slide my tripod across there with our big Trachophilia there, which is absolutely stunning at the moment. Looking great. They like powdered food. Ocean Nutrition's what I feed those guys on. I've got some around here somewhere. Here it is. This is the stuff I feed my tank on a regular basis. I do this once every couple of days, and I'll just put a little bit in a syringe, blow it into the water and turn the pumps off, and then that will let it blow it around for a little bit first, and then turn your pumps off, power heads off, everything, and just let it settle through the water, and everything will get a good coating on it. And even though these guys don't look like they're feeding, you can see in the evening time, or when you get that feed response from a coral, they'll slowly put all those little tentacles out all the way around to catch obviously bigger prey. But they've got like a slime coating on them as well, and now as that sort of snow comes down as out the water column and sits on it, it'll sit on that mucous membrane, and they will actually drag that into the mouth, as with the anemones as well. So you don't always have to feed them big chunks of prawn or anything like that, which can pollute your tank up a little bit more if it's not eaten. So that's what I tend to do with those. You can also, once you've got that feeding response going and everything's opening up for the food, you can also turn your pumps off, obviously feed your fish first well, and then you can drop some mysis shrimp or little tiny bits of food in amongst it, and then they'll be quite happily feeding away on those, and that'll give them a little bit of an extra boost. Okay, right, there you go guys, there's a view of the tank. Now some of you guys were asking me what lighting I use, and all I've got on the top of here is a couple of these Fluval light bars. Okay, I've just got those on the top, and I've got it on a piece of glass because the existing lid lamp went. The little on the side, the guys who have got them, you've got that little wire that comes. You've got to be careful about that wire going in there when you're moving it up and down, because it will get weak and it will break, which is what happened to mine. Okay, but the green star polyps are going absolutely mad. Now remember that anemone, the bubble tip here actually split, and the other one is gone right up there, look, and you can see the green star polyps now. I'll get my finger out of the way, I'll get the tongs. You can see that it's absolutely totally encased those returns. We got one which is blowing across here, you can see that moving, and the other one there, it's sort of growing and it creating its own little wave and wave movement in there and different things. But he's gone up there for the light. He's quite happy, easy to feed. I just take off the glass top and drop a little bit of food onto him. He's fine. But these two anemones are absolutely beautiful. They are the other chaps out now here. Look, the other fanworms come out. but it's absolutely stunning. He's given those zoas a bit of a hard time at the moment, but the other corals there at the back are fine. If I get you a close up of that purple tipped anemone, it's a stunning example. It gets quite big when it's been fed up, but obviously I said before it was from the back of the tank, so it's a little bit shrunken down at the moment, but I'll give it a regular feed now, and within a couple of weeks it'll be back up to speed. Got those big zoa colonies at the back. The GPS is creeping right to the top now, guys. Look at that, it's gone right the way along there. And that bit, if you remember on the other video, which was here, that bit rolled over and fell down, and it actually lapped over, but those polyps have like reversed and they've come through the back now and created a nice little wave coming right from there, which looks quite nice. These little guys are doing well. I'll turn the power head off for a minute, but the Gorgonian's doing very well, growing up there, catching all the little bits in the water, and that's where that food comes in really handy, that ocean nutrition, because it's once that pump goes off. Actually, I'll try and do a little bit of film of that for you now. I'll put some in and I'll show you what I do. I'll just put you down a minute, open this tripod up, get you a nice view of those gorgeous little fish. Right, bear with me a minute. Okay, right, 50mm syringe, 60mm syringe this one, even bigger. Now I just slide my glass lid over so I can go into the side where the filter chamber is. Pull the syringe apart and I'll show you how much I use. If I go in there, I use the back of my tweezers and I literally take out about that much. Okay, pop that into there, hold the thing level, push that in slowly, invert it, give it a tap, push it to the top, so all your food's in there like so, and then I put it into the tank, suck up a bit of tank water in there, and then just reverse it a little bit more, finger on the end of the syringe and give it a good shake. Clownfish are all getting excited because they know the routine, and there's quite biggish bits in here that they can pick up as well. So, and then basically what I do is, you'll just see it coming down in the water column now. And there it is, and that's all you need. Okay, now I'm going to let that just circle. You can see them coming out already feeding. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my main pumps now. And then you can see it all, everything will slow down and everything's going to get a good feed. You might see a few bristle worms come out. I'm just going to take this tripod off a minute, bear with me. Okay, you can see that just very slowly now moving around. Now there's a bristle worm that has come out. Can't really see him that well. Got a nice little gang of Aptasia. There's a nice little brittle star there, look, coming out, waving his little arms around. He'll be picking up bits out of the water column. And you can see as well, you can watch the anemones now as that stuff settles on them. They're going to be picking those bits up as well, as will everything else. Now the fan worms absolutely love this stuff, as you can imagine. It's fine particulate matter and it'll just float down into those little feathery limbs there, and it'll collect it all, and then it'll shoot back in, extract it all, and then put its little fishing nets out again, all ready to go. Now see if you can see these guys closing up when they catch hold of a bit. You keep your eyes peeled as it drifts into it. You'll see him, there you go, you see that one just catch a little bit up there. Very interesting to watch under magnification. Look at that. And they'll pick up little bits as it goes past. You can see little tentacles there just closing up very slowly. There goes one. And you can leave your pumps off, guys, for 10 or 15 minutes, which is what I tend to do. And then after that the pumps start up again. Very, very interesting. Stunning colours on that. Looks absolutely amazing under the blue light. Got some Asterina stars over there on that little bit of algae. They clean up the algae. Fantastic. But it's looking really, really good. Now I've got another piece of the green star polyp down there, and there's some at the back as well under there, and that's going to start growing up this side. So before we know it, I reckon within another 6 months that's going to be completely covered in there and looking absolutely awesome. 10% I do roughly on this tank. Sorry, I was thinking of another tank then. I normally drop the level down to about here, 10 or 20%. In this I normally do 25 litres, which is an old salt tub I use, and I mix up the amount and I take out a bucket and I replace a bucket, 25 litres, and I do that every couple of weeks with this little tank. You can see it's starting to grow again across the front of the glass. So before we know it, I'm going to be having to run that blade again up there and just take that piece off. Let's see if we've got any more little creepy crawlies running around. We've got, I say, we've got the eggs underneath there, but we can't see them very clearly. There's a few little brittle stars in there. You can see the little white legs of the brittle stars. There's a little baby one there in the centre of the screen. Great little clean-up crew if you get them. Don't worry about them. They'll do absolutely no harm to your system whatsoever. There's another little one. Oh, there's a bristle worm there coming out. Big bristle worms. You can remove if you like, but they don't really do a great deal of damage. They can make your fingers itch a little bit though, with those urticating hairs that they've got on the side of them. Something else under there as well. It's amazing when you get up close with a camera and you see, once you feed and you let this stuff settle, what will come out and feed on it. And there's another bristle worm under there with them. Brilliant stuff. They're everywhere. The Montipora is doing well. It's starting to plate out, as is the Chalice and the Zoas. They've touched the glass now. The cabbage coral, I've got to move everything back. Everything seemed, that's why I've got to remove all these little aptasias across here, but I'll do that. I'll just scrape them off and I'll just siphon them out with a bit of airline later on. Let's give you some food, come on. Right, let's give you some grub. They love it. Like I said, I've had these clownfish for many years, and they're still madly in love and still having little baby clownfish every couple of weeks. I say I don't bring them on, I just let them go back into nature, into the tank, and because I can't be bringing up thousands of little baby clownfish, which I've done in the past. I used to have this whole workshop kitted out with most species of clownfish that you can get all the way through, and I was breeding them all, and I had hundreds and hundreds of the little guys, and I used to sell them to the shops. But it got a little bit too much after a while, and I gave it a break and sold all the pairs on. But that's another story. But you can see that anemone now, he's picking up those little bits that are drifting down, taking them all to the central mouth, where you'll have a nice feed. It doesn't take long for them to go. Look at that, everything's gone already. Now I've been chatting away now for 14 minutes, so I think what I'll do now is I'm going to press play on the plug and plug it back in, turn those pumps back on. I'll leave the power head off for a minute, and there we go. I actually haven't had the power head on for some time now. I've kept it in there if it needs additional movement, but I found it's got adequate movement throughout the tank at the moment. Everything's out the way. One thing you've got to watch with bubble tips is they move around a lot. Okay, that one moved up there, but he could have quite easily moved towards that power head and been sucked in. Now you can get like a little mesh sock which can go over them to protect things from going in them like that, but I found even still the power, it drags the foot down through, and it can still mess them up. So you can see the feeding response now of this guy. Look, you see the little tentacles all coming out, and that's the time where you drop in your mysis shrimp or other little bits that you want to feed them. The big anemone now is closing up with all that food. He's taking it all into his mouth now. And if you see, you can see bits of mucus and things flowing around there as well. You get these little tube worms, and what they do is they release the mucus out to the water column, and they'll collect all that floating ocean nutrition powdered food, and it all sticks to that mucus, and then they drag it back in. You see those little tiny tube worms, sometimes little fan worms, little red fans sticking out the top. And that's what they feed on, and that's how they feed, okay? Basically the same as these guys, but they've got a carbon calcium based skeleton. Like with these guys it's just mud and debris they use, and what they excrete they just make, and they build up their little tube longer and longer and bigger as they get bigger. Ooh, you're not supposed to have a go at that. Soon went in though. Oh, there's a nice little bristle worm. He's come out for a feed too. Fantastic stuff. You can see that Aptasia, a couple of Aptasia there annoying these zoas. So what I'm going to do is I'll get in there. The ones that I can't scrape off and suck out with an airline, I'll just put a little bit of Joe's juice in the top of those, and that'll kill those off. There's a nice big one right in the back there. I'll do the same to that one, and I've noticed one in the back centre of the screen there as well. They do breed. They breed in the filter chambers and things as well, but very simple to get rid of, and as long as you're on top of them and you take them out regular, you're not going to have too much of a problem with them. Then you can get file fish and different things. Here he comes. You can get the file fish. Aptasia eating file fish. Different butterfly fish will eat them, but in a tank this small I wouldn't suggest putting any more than a pair of fish in, or a pistol shrimp and a little goby, something of that nature, and then you'll have a lovely healthy thriving system with no algae and any complications like that. You can follow this system right the way through from the start. I've got from setting up, but I've got links where you can buy it from and everything else. If you do fancy buying one, it helped me out a little bit, and I might end up with an extra £1.50 at the end of the month. There you are. Prices of electric have gone through the roof at the moment over here in the UK, so you might not be getting as many videos from me, because a lot of the tanks I'm going to have to shut them down because of the amount of heaters that I've got going. And I'm not a massive channel. I'm not making lots of money out of this basic. You know, I'm just making a basic maybe £150 a month, and it's not a lot to put into all this and buying new fish and breeding fish and everything else, because it all takes money out. And you know, if I was making more money, I'd make more videos. You know, it's as simple as that. But I've got my regular viewers, 2,000 or 3,000 of you which regularly watch my videos, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for watching them and giving me the small income that I do get. But with these rising costs of electric, it's going to be a bit more harder for me to cope with all the other stuff we've got, running a household and doing this as well. So you might be not as many videos as I've been putting out recently, okay? So if you see me going a bit quieter, that's the reason. Unless millions of you guys want to sub up and watch my channel, that'll help, and I can carry on doing loads more. But until such times, I can't, I'm afraid. Anyway guys, as always, I love you loads. Take care of yourselves. It's goodbye from me and the clowns and this lovely little Fluval Evo tank, and I'll see you guys on the next edition of Marks Aquatics. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.